Hello, this is Jeff L. Gilberts, and I want to welcome you to my Facebook Live call. And I have a question for you. What is your job? And for those of you that do not know me, I've been involved in network marketing for 40 years. I started in this business totally broke. I sold a junk truck to get started. Got $400, and I put $200 into my network marketing business. Today, I have a global business in 56 countries around the world. So I'm going to give some acknowledgments, some shout outs. And hey, Jennifer. Wow, she's down in New Orleans having fun without me. How can anybody do that? Oh, I wish I was in New Orleans. Good to see you, Jennifer. Stephen from Canada. Nice to see you. Lin Qian from Taipei, Taiwan. Well, let me see. You are my wife. Yeah. Hey, come back. Come back. Hey, John. Nice to see you. Loranda from Ontario, Canada. Dottie from the state of Maine. Marissa from Costa Rica. There she is. Good to see you. And John, good to see you. Robert Nelson from North Carolina. You can say where you are unless you're hiding from your spouse or the law. Sean Lee, good to see you. And Ellie's from California, good to see you. Joshua, don't know where you're from, but welcome to the call. And we have Esther, but I don't know where you're from. Good to see you. What's up, Caesar? Janice from Chicago, Illinois. Well, I love that city. Matter of fact, I'm going to be coming out there in August to Chicago. Looking forward to that trip. Eliza, where are you from? And Sean Lee from Australia. I'd say you're the furthest one out so far. Good to see you. Clarissa from the Philippines. And yeah, I tell you, we were out in Australia back last September. It was awesome. I loved it. From Puerto Rico, Joshua. Caesar from Mexico. Nice to see you. Warren from Toronto. Good to see you. April from North Carolina. Danya, good to see you, girl. From Illinois. Yeah, good to see you too, Robert. And Marvan from Miami. From Miami. Good to see you. Vicky, I hope you're doing well. I know you've had some challenges. I hope it's going better for you now. And Jose from South Jersey. Good to see you, man. George from New York City. He's an uptown guy. Good to see you. Yeah, Toronto's in the house. That's right. That's right, Warren. Good man. Yeah, so I hope everybody's having a great summer. Looks like, things are moving fast. Good to see you, Norman from Manila, Philippines, and Henry from the Philippines. And Patricia, good to see you as well. Vicky from Florida, nice to see you again, Vicky. So the thing is, I had a title for this. Shirley from the Philippines, good to see you. A title to this was, what is your job? How many of you remember your first job when you got out of high school? And we be from Indonesia. Good to see you. Turi from Texas. And Wilma from the Philippines. Boy, Asia's showing up tonight, man. What is going on? But how many of you can remember that? I could tell you one of my first jobs when I got out of high school was working in a shoe factory. Now that was interesting. Yeah, working in a shoe factory. I'm going to tell you, it wasn't a real nice place to work, that's for sure. But the thing is, we had a trainer, somebody who would train us and show us what we needed to do from the time that we walked in and until it was time to go home. There was a certain routine that we had to establish every day on our job, and that's how we were trained. Matter of fact, I laughed. I was at a store the other day, a grocery store, and there were two trainees, and I watched the man that was explaining to these boys what they needed to do. And I noticed one boy, I could tell by his physique, his posture, that he was really, listening closely to the guy. He was really into what the guy was saying. He was really paying attention. The other young man I noticed had his hands in his pockets. And I watched him as the man was walking around showing different areas of the store what they needed to do. The one guy had his hands in his pocket. Now, I'll be honest with you. I come from a generation where when you show up for work, I better never see your hands in your pockets. That's the generation that I'm from, okay? Because we always believe that, hey, when you show up for work, hey, it's time to go to work. There is no hand. I want to see those hands flying. And as a matter of fact, my kids, when I take them out into the yard and, and give them a job, and I really don't want to do that, okay? Because I know that I end up having to show them to work, get them involved in the work, and sometimes I end up doing the work. And I'm like, wait a second here, they're supposed to do the work, okay? But that's the one thing I tell my boys, especially my oldest son. I can remember many times I'd say, get your hands out of your pocket. I want to see those hands moving. So the thing about it is, when we talk about network marketing, it's a lot like that. Remember the word in network marketing, network? The word work is in network. See, some people just miss that. They miss it. In the past, I've talked about some of the marketing we do in terms of how to use Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But the first word, work, is very important. And some people just, they don't get that, but it's about establishing our routine from the time we wake up in the morning until the time we go to bed. What is going to be, or the time that we've decided we're going to dedicate to this business, we have to be in the business, right? And since we're in the summer, it's right now, I like watching baseball when I have a chance to see it. I enjoy the game. Matter of fact, I was playing Wii last night with our boys, Alexander, my 15-year-old. So we were playing Wii baseball. I love Wii baseball. I really hate it when Alexander pitches to me, though. He's just, especially when he does the slow ball. Nothing makes me madder than a slow ball, because then I'm thinking it's going to be fast, and then I swing, and it's a strike. Okay, but that's anyway. We had fun with that last night. So, but the thing about it is, when you think about baseball and network marketing, there's similarities there, and that is think about when you were in school. Some of you that played baseball, you played in school, okay? What did you do? You would hit, throw, catch, and run, right? Hit, throw, catch, and run. There wasn't anything else. That was the routine. Now, what do they do in pro baseball? They do the same thing. It's hit, throw, catch, and run. There is nothing else. Now, what's the difference between what they're doing and what you did or what I did when I was in high school? They just did it more often. They were committed to it, dedicated to it, and they did it more often. They were hitting more often, throwing more often, catching more often, running more often. That's all they did. It was repetition, repetition, repetition until they got good at it. They were dedicated to it. In network marketing, it's the same thing. But when people come in, many times, they'll say, well, why do they have to be white balls? Why? I got a better idea. I know what would make this game a lot more interesting, and that is green balls. We need green balls. And if you really want to make it better, and I know how to make this better, I think I do, instead of having first base, second base, third base, instead of having 3 bases, let's have 7. No, why not 8? Let's just do 8 bases. See, people want to come in and they want to reinvent the game. There is no reinventing this game. See, the principles never change, just the tools. So yeah, we've added a lot of things in our toolbox when it comes to social media, but there are other tools in there that remain the same. A hammer is still a hammer. Or well, in this case, we were talking about baseball, a bat is a bat. It's the same bat that Mickey Mantle had when he played baseball. It's the same bat. The balls are still round just as when Babe Ruth played baseball. They're round balls. We don't need square balls. And they do need to be white. It's just the sport. What could I say? But there's things about network marketing that we have to, just understand that there are basic things that we always need to do, and that's what we got to do. And that is, again, what do? First of all, when we get started, what do? We have to know our why. Why are we doing this? And we have to lead with our why. And when we prospect people with our why. Because that resonates with people. Why you're doing this. And you're doing this because it's going to be a solution to the problems in your life. No doubt it's going to be a solution to the problem or the problems in their lives. And that's what it is. It's a solution. So I'm not focused on selling product, and I'm not focused on recruiting you. I'm simply a consultant trying to help you fix your problems. I'm being a friend. And so that's the first thing. And then we learn how to make a prospect list. We're talking about white balls here, okay? These are the basics. Or a bat. A bat is a bat. It's the same bat that Babe Ruth had. You make the prospect list. That is the basics. And then, again, how to invite people. Instead of just trying to present, learn how to invite and then present. That is, you can use a third-party tool, or if you have a video that you use, you use that tool. That's a very important tool. And then sponsor. And then move them along in terms of leadership. Those are the basics. And those never change. Those will never change. Just like in baseball, we still have first, second, and third base and home. That's it. We're talking about 4 bases. That's it. There are no more bases. There's not different balls and there's not different bats. So still, it's all going to be about how often do you hit, how often do you throw, how often do you catch, how often do you run. Because the ones that do it the most are the ones who are making the money. And have you ever noticed how much money these pro ball players make? I mean, how much money they're paid? It's amazing. So, but have you noticed what people in network marketing make? It's amazing. It really is amazing. So that's the thing. We have to get good at that. And again, as a coach, and all of you are coaches, or you're coaches in training. Because the day you signed that application for your company, whether online or offline, the day you did that, you committed yourself to being a leader. And that's what a leader does. A leader leads. Now, don't get nervous. Don't say, well, I just got started in this thing. I mean, oh my God. Hey, let me ask you something. If you have a fire in your house, are you going to just run an ad and hope people are going to come help put it out? Or are you going to go down the streets and beating down some doors to get some help to put out your fire? What are you going to do? Are you going to say, I'm not trained in that area. I don't know how to knock on doors. No, you're going to get it done. See, because the circumstances compels you to do so. And it's the same way in this business. When you've made that decision and you said, yes, I'm going to do this, you're a leader. Now, that doesn't mean you have to know everything. You don't. But you have to get started. And it was interesting because, when we think about coaches, even in our high school, think about your high school. When you went to school, I'll assume nobody on this call is in high school. But unless my 15-year-old son's on this call. But when you're in high school, can you think of some of the coaches that you respected? I know I can think of some coaches I respected. Now, I wasn't really into, any particular sport. My family was. My dad had trophies. He played basketball for the Navy. My sister was a star forward. My brother was a basketball coach. My other brother played football for the high school. Okay. Me, I was a long-haired drummer in a rock band. That was my thing back then. I loved music. I was into music. That was my thing. But I had a lot of love and respect, though, for sports. So when you think about coaches, when you went to school, why they impressed you, think about that. And to me, they were a symbol of, helping people to become better than what they were. They were people that knew how to guide people, take people to places they haven't been before, in terms of human performance. And so, you as a leader, it's the same thing. You have to, you're a leader, so you have to lead, whether you think you're good or not. You're going to have to step up, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, is just that thing. I had a call today with a woman, and out of respect to her, I won't mention her name because she might be on this call. If not, she'll see the replay maybe. But it's okay. It's okay. She won't mind me sharing this. But anyway, she asked me, she's in another company, and she said, would you give me some of your time to mentor me, in some areas? And I said, sure. I don't know her. I don't know her at all. Okay. So today, she messaged me. She said, do you have time to talk now? And I said, sure. And so I called her, and so we got to, just chatting, introductions, hey, what are you about, and she started telling me her history. I mean, she's 59 years old. She started in network marketing when she was 21. So she's been in this game a long time, almost 40 years, right? And so I listened to her history in companies she had been in. And these were companies that, for the most part, did not work out. So, in one company, she was wrongfully, terminated, let go. In another company, they kept changing the compensation plan. She went through some bad experiences. And then in her present company, when she calls her upline just to get some time, it's like they're in a hurry to get off the phone. So she wasn't feeling too good. But I asked her some questions. I said, well, then, but, before it went bad in some of these companies, did you build a team? Yeah, I built a team. I had a large team. She talked to me about her team and how much volume they did and how well it did and things like that. And I said, wow, great, awesome. And I said, so you made some money? Yeah, I made some money. Yeah. Until it went bad, And then, okay, got that. Well, you can't, it's not your fault when things go bad or when they change the compensation plan on you. That's not your fault. I get that. Or your upline doesn't, when you call them, they don't want to talk to you. Okay. So they don't even deserve to be in this business, and they don't deserve to make money on you. But so she says, well, I said, so where do you need help? She said, well, I don't see myself as a leader. I need to know what I got to do to be a leader. And I said, wow. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, you are already a leader. You are already a leader. Matter of fact, you're a great leader. I can tell you that right now. Because the fact that you've built teams and you've made good money proves that you're a performer. It proves that you're not sitting in the stands watching the game. You're on the ball field. I mean, you're going after this thing. So I have a lot of respect for that. I said, now, here's the problem. Here's the problem. The problem is because you've had negative experiences, because of that, you have a confidence problem with yourself. And you're blaming yourself for what happened. It wasn't your fault. You got to let that go. See, the past that's accusing you of what you're doing presently is wrong. It's totally wrong because it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault that these companies were badly managed or that they changed the compensation plan, or you presently have a, not so good upline, actually terrible, that's not your fault. The fact is, you're a great leader. And I could just hear like, on the phone, like, wow. Like a weight just came off her when I said that. And I said, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to get John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward, and I want you to read that book. That's an excellent book. Of all of John Maxwell's books, that's the book I love the most, because I think he wrote that book about me. I mean, I felt like, when I read that book, he was writing that book for Jeff Outgoers. Matter of fact, I met John Maxwell last summer. It was about this time last summer, actually. I went down, I was invited by him and his staff to come to Atlanta, to his Success Center. Big old place, beautiful place. Oh my gosh, what an operation he's got. And for the first time, he was streamlining his coaching for network marketers. Before, it always just had been generically about leadership, but now it was for network marketing leaders. So what they wanted was, they wanted proven leaders that they selected that were at the top of their company to come to Atlanta. So I was down there, and there were others down there as well, and we did a filming. So everybody had film time, and then I was instructed to coach and talk about one of the principles of, it was contribution. Was it contribution? Yeah, contribution. I forgot. Anyway, but it was just, and so I prepared for that, went down there, met John, had dinner with him. It was really great to be with the great John Maxwell. I mean, he's the icon of leadership. And so that's what I recommended. I recommended that book and the other book, Developing the Leader in You, which I think is a great follow-up book to that. But I always like reading Failing Forward, because then we understand that there really isn't any failures that we go through. It's just lessons that we learn. But the problem is, sometimes we turn that into accusations. Hey, you weren't successful, or look what happened, it didn't work out. You're not making anything now. Now, how do you explain that to people around you? You're a loser, I mean, we can have these negative conversations, but we need to always see it as it is. It's a lesson, it's not a failure. So that's the thing that, it just reminded me when I had that call with her. I thought she was awesome. And that's what I said, just let that go. That's not your fault. You're a great leader. Understand that. Understand your value. You have tremendous value to people out there, and you're a blessing to people out there. And what's also great about that is, because you went through that, you're going to be able to help other people who go through that too. That's even most important, which makes you a qualified coach to be able to train on this very thing. And that's so important, that we have people like that have experience. They go through things, and then when they talk to their own leaders that are going through things, they say, "Hey, I know exactly what you're going through. I went through the same thing, and this is what I did." So that's a great blessing. But here's the thing: some of you leaders are doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. You're carrying emotional baggage from the past into your present performance in the company that you're in. And it's damaging you. It's damaging you. It's replay. It's just replay. And then we're I can think of times that my band, when we were on stage and something went wrong, and we were at doing a concert and something went wrong. Even today, my mind will go back there. Oh man, if you'd have did this, man, it would have turned out so much differently. I'm like, shut up, you're dismissed. Delete, delete, delete. That's what we have to do. We just have to let it go. You have to let the emotional baggage go. When people join you, And I was this way. I've been doing this for 40 years. But when people join you, and I get to know a leader that's coming in, and they tell me a little bit about their past, I said, well, tell me about your past. So have you been involved in network marketing before? Uh-huh. Yeah, okay, awesome. So how did it go? How was the experience? And I'll listen to what they have to say. Sometimes they'll say, well, yeah, it was okay. And then, yeah, tell me about it. Did you build something? Did you build a team? Did you make any money? If they say that, well, I didn't really, no, it didn't work for me. Well, why didn't it work for you? I mean, did you give it the time that you should have? Well, I really didn't have time for it. Oh, okay. Well, it's not that it didn't work for you. It's just you didn't have time for it, right? Okay, got it. But when they come in, well, yeah, I tried, I worked hard, I bought $500 of product and all that, and then my wife hated me for it, threatened divorce, and I just went out and I tried this or tried that, it just didn't work, but I'll always do that. Get into the questions. Why didn't it work? Was it the time? Were you trained? No, I wasn't trained because the guy who signed me up, he quit, 2 days after I signed up. Oh, okay. So, so here's the thing. I tell people when they come in, they're getting started with you. They have history. They have experiences. If there are not pleasant experiences, here's what I say. Listen, I understand you went through that, but let's just call it what it is, okay? Had nothing to do with you. Maybe it had to do with circumstances. You didn't have time. It's not your fault because you have a job, you have a family. You're a responsible person to your family. That's good. It's good that you're that way. But now the time is better for you because now your circumstances are where you have time. So that's a good thing, okay? So what I want you to do is leave that negative baggage outside, okay? I want you to come in this with a fresh attitude, totally fresh attitude. That like this is the first time you've experienced network marketing. It's like the first time you fell in love. I mean, you are so hot for it. What can I say? I mean, you're passionate for it. That's what I want out of you. I don't want you hitting replay. If you hit replay, you're going to do it again. You're going to find a way to make sure it doesn't work. And I don't want you to do that because it will work. And you have to, again, you understand why it didn't work in the past. That is what it is, okay? So it has nothing to do with you. Now I want a new you. I want you on fire and passionate about this. So, it's important to have these conversations with new people when they come in, because if you don't, they're going to hit replay. And they are going to self-sabotage their success. I've seen people do it when they're making $20,000, $30,000 a month. I'm serious. Just crazy stuff that they'll do to make sure that they are not going to maintain their level of success. I've seen them do it. So it's important to get in there and then find out what's really going on. So here's the thing. And if you're still building your business, keep that in mind, that if you're in the beginning stages of building, why that's so important, because if you have that defeat mentality, that replay mentality, it's going to carry over into your prospecting, because there's going to be negative overtones in the feelings that people can sense, from you. They just have an instinct. People have an instinct for that. And so if they see that you're not really committed to this, they aren't going to join you. They're not going to join you. I mean, they have to feel you. I mean, really feel that you believe what you are doing is the thing you should be doing. So that's the thing. So here's some action steps. Let's talk about this, okay? So number one, work on that. Understand that and forgive yourself. Even if you were stupid and did some stupid things, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You have to do that. You can't love another person until you love yourself. You can't love a teammate or coach a teammate until you first can love and coach yourself. So you're going to have to let go of the past. Okay? I mean, that's a fundamental teaching. I mean, you know, it's amazing. Even Christians, you know, we understand biblical truths. Jesus died for our sins. Okay? But do we forgive ourselves? See, God's not accusing you, but you're accusing yourself. You see that? It's hard to move on when you still have that voice inside you saying you're not good enough. You don't deserve this. So when you make mistakes, then you learn the lesson. Like John says in Failing Forward, you let it go. And that means you wash it away. That's it. It's gone. It's gone. You know, pray about it and let it go and get it out of your life. That's the thing. That's the thing to do. So when you are with your leaders, here's one action step is stop apologizing or quit apologizing. And not your leaders. Let me back that up. I meant to, when you're prospecting, don't have an apologetic attitude for your profession when you prospect people. In other words, I'm not going to apologize that I'm in the network marketing profession. When people ask me, what do you do? I don't hem-haw around. Now, that's okay. If you live in a country, and I know in Indonesia, they say, well, that's a real overused word, network marketing. I said, okay, fine. Then just, you can call it social networking. You can call working from home. Whatever you want to call it. You know, the business that you're in. But when people ask me, I say network marketing. Have you ever heard of it? And that is my attitude. I'm not going to say, well, you know, what are you in? Well, I'm in network marketing. You know, network marketing. That's not going to be my posture. I'm going to say, I'm in network marketing. Have you ever heard of it? And if they say yes, I'll say, any particular company? And they might say, well, you mean like Amway? Or, yeah. Same business model, different company. You know, so the thing is, don't be apologetic about, don't worry, because where that's coming from, it's coming from the voice within, you're going to fail. Or public perception, they hate network marketing. See, I don't accept that. See, the only reason why people are not in network marketing is because they don't understand it. Now, there's two different kinds of ignorance. There's ignorance because they were never taught network marketing, what it really is. And then there's willful ignorance. That means they're not open at all whatsoever to the truth about network marketing. Now, if they're not open, fine with me. You can't cure stupid. You can't cure willful ignorance. There is no product for that. So I don't worry about that. And see, I'm not seeking social acceptance for what I already believe is true, because I know it's true. I know it's true. So I'm not asking somebody to confirm that for me. And that's the posture you have to have when you prospect. That's the posture. You're not seeking social acceptance because you already know it's true. You know it's true. Now, and when you have that mental posture, when you prospect, you're going to see better results. See, because I'm not worried whether they join or not. That's not a concern to me. I'm the consultant that wants to help people find a solution to their problems in life. Now, if they want to, stay in their problems, well, I feel bad for them. I wish they wouldn't do that. That's their choice, not mine. I want to fix things and do something else with my life. Okay, so that's the thing. But see, I don't get concerned about that. And when we have that attitude that there is more than enough, there's more than enough that's going to say yes to you than's going to say no to you, then you have nothing to be concerned about. You're going to have plenty. But have the right mental posture when you when you prospect. That is so important. So here's the other thing. I'm thirsty today because I was in my gym, and then after that I went in my sauna, and then I sweat out everything. So anyway, that's the reason why I'm drinking a lot of water right now. So here's the other thing. You know, if you want to make $10,000 a month in network marketing, believe that you already are. Believe that you already are. That's part of your job. That's right. You believe as if you've already arrived. And then, again, what we think about most is what we attract. It's true. I can remember when I was making $10,000 a month, and I thought, you know, it's great making $10,000 a month. I have gratitude, you know. This was many, many, many years ago. I said, I can remember that. I said, but you know what? What would it be like to consistently make $20,000 a month? And then I thought, and then I was there. After a period of time, I was there. And I said, wow, you know, I have nothing but gratitude to God for, I'm making $20,000 a month. That's awesome. But you know, what would it be like to make $30,000 a month? And it just went on and went on and went on. And I remember the month I saw my first $100,000 check. Wow, are they sure they got the right guy? See, here's the thing. You have to start somewhere. And then once you do, and you have that attitude, and you don't think negative thoughts like, oh, well, I'm never going to make $10,000 more, then you never will. But you have that attitude, you know what? I'm going to make $10,000 a month. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to do. Yep. You're going to be very picky about your time and what you do with your time. You're going to make sure that you're involved in productive activities and you're not wasting your time with the wrong people. We spend the majority of our time with the wrong people. And the wrong people, it's not that they're bad people. They're not bad people. They're not bad at all. They're just not going to be the people that are going to take you to where you want to go. And then when I started understanding that, then I started recruiting different people. I started knowing where to spend my time, where to slow down, where to speed up, who to spend more time with, who not to. And when you really get good at that, and that becomes a skill set, you'll attract better and better and better leaders, and you'll help your leaders to attract better and better and better leaders. Because good people find good people who find good people who find good people. And this is the reason why I got lines from the United States all the way to China, all over the world, in 3 different lines that I have that I've been making, you know, residual income for 20 years. I mean, I hit it hard my first 90 days. After that 90 days, that was it. I was set to go. I was set to go, and that was 20 years ago. And see, that's the thing that we have to understand is know how to use your time. If you want to make $10,000 a month, believe you already are, then understand that time is money. Who are you spending your time with? Most important, really important. And so, and here's the thing that you have to understand. Unlike the voice of the past that you need to delete, forgive yourself, whatever, or just understand you're not to blame. You're not to blame. If you did something stupid, okay, forgive yourself. But for the most part, you're not to blame, okay? Then just understand you're a special person. You're a special person. So when you give your time to people, to your leaders, you know what? That is special to them. Now, I'm not saying have an ego. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying know your value. You are a valuable person. And because you are a valuable person, you need to spend your time with the right people, and they appreciate it. And it's special to them. That's the key. Now, here's the third thing. Have the right culture. Now, this was something I got out of this conversation today. It just reminded me of some things. And that is that the most important things that keep people with you, and this is the only reason, well, it's not the only reason, but it's a major part of the reason why I still get paid after 20 years in this business is because I created the sticky stuff. The sticky stuff. That is that people and relationships are everything in this business. That's what keeps people around. So a lot of people, once they start making money, they sort of divorce themselves from those relationships. They're not connecting so much. They don't call anymore. It's like as if they think this money is going to keep coming, every month till eternity. Well, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. I always understood the sticky stuff. The sticky stuff, sending cards, sending gifts. Oh, it's an anniversary. I've got leaders that, a very good friend of mine is gonna, she's coming up here to the mountains here in this area here to vacation with her family and all that, and we're planning to be out of town, matter of fact, and so we're actually off for a Bible convention for the weekend, and I said, wow, man, I want to see you so bad, really, I can't believe you're coming, you're bringing your family and some other relatives. I said, well, then just take our house. Just take her house. And she's, oh, no. I said, what do you mean? Come on, we're close. What are you talking? Take our house. Just show up before we leave, so we can see you and all that. Give you some hugs and all that, and then that's it. Enjoy it. So that's what I'm talking about, the sticky stuff. But it can be just, see, people today think it's about Facebook groups, and it's like, I'll connect with you, but I connect with you in the Facebook group, or I'll use, Facebook Messenger, and because I don't want to talk to you on the telephone, but I'll talk to you on Facebook Messenger and all that. In other words, they don't ever connect. There is no sticky stuff, or doing retreats together and things like that. I'm going to tell you, that's really most important. Eating together, having time together. The sticky stuff is part of your job. If you want a team to stay together, because I'm going to tell you, I've seen it. I've seen leaders, and you know what? If they don't have that in the team culture, they're leaving. They're going to gravitate. They're going to move toward the sticky stuff. They're going to move toward teams that have these cultures where they love on one another, and not just love on one another, but I'm saying not just in word, hey, I love you. It's easy to say that, okay? Show it, okay? So the sticky stuff is showing it, getting together, doing things together. You plan things together. That's so important to your team, very important. So then just understand that's I don't know, I could talk a long time on that. Here's the fourth one. I want you to lead in a way that, lead in a way that, even though you show the sticky stuff in love, the fourth point is lead in a way that you make your leaders accountable. In other words, I love you, but when you screw up, or you're doing stupid things, or when you have retired from your job, I'm going to remind you, and I'm going to show some nice, tough love. Tough love. Now, in other words, I still love you, but I'm going to be very candid with you about it. And so that's what a friend is. So when we're not doing what we should be doing, then that's when we need that. Or in this case, you as the coach, when you see your leaders do that, see, that's the great thing about the sticky stuff. Once you've created the relationships and you're like glue now, it's like one of my best leaders. I told her, I said, she says, well, I'm not really into Facebook, blah, blah. Well, we tried, Facebook and my team doesn't really want to do. I said, stop right now. I'm going to be honest with you. You suck at Facebook. You totally suck at Facebook. You haven't posted in a year. You've never done a Facebook Live. So you absolutely suck at it. So why would your team be into Facebook? Because you're not setting an example. You're horrible. See, if you don't have a sticky relationship, you can't do that. That leader's gone. They're not going to talk to you anymore. You know what I'm saying? But when you're like family, it's different. It's different because we can do those things because we have a certain tolerance of one another. Because the fact is, we've got so much invested in this relationship, yeah, I can put up with that crap. That's right. Even if my sponsor does it to me, okay, fine, fine. Let me have it, man. Go ahead, coach me. If I don't have the right attitude and I'm not doing it right, coach me. You know? But sometimes we have to get a little tough love. And you know what? And then I showed her some results of some people that were following exactly what I'm telling them to do. And I said, well, look at this. If you think it doesn't work, look at this woman's views on her profile page doing Facebook Lives, and she's getting, 8,000 views, 10,000 views, 20,000 views. You got that many eyeballs looking at you, at your presentation, at what you're doing, and you're telling me that doesn't work? It works, believe me. And she gave me 3 thumbs up. I loved it. She accepted. She says, okay, you're right. But sometimes it just takes that. Now, hopefully you don't have to have too many of those, conversations. But when you are working with leaders, here's the thing. Get this understood from the beginning when you start with people, okay? This is just really important. My job is to help you. If you don't do your job, I don't have a job. Yeah, isn't that sad? In other words, look what you're doing to me. Yeah, my job is to help you. But if you don't do your job, I don't have a job. See, we have to get that understood with leaders right up front. And that's why I tell people that if you come into this thinking this is going to be easy, this is the wrong thing for you to be in. See, this isn't easy. I mean, if you want to make a few $100s a month, okay, fine, that's easy. Now, if you want to be financially independent like you told me to, you said you wanted to do that, you wanted to be financially independent, you wanted to own your life, go here, go there, have the house of your dreams, it won't be easy. But it will be worth it. And it will happen for you if we can agree on something. And you must get your other people to agree on this too. And if everybody agrees on this, you can do it. And that is, you don't quit. You don't quit me, I won't quit you. If you do what you're supposed to do, if I see the effort, it's like when I went in high school, when in my junior year, this was a 2-year course, in my junior year of high school, I for some reason, like I said, I was a rock drummer in a band. I thought I should learn electronics. I don't know what ever gave me that idea, because we had a lot of equipment, right? Well, this was a bad idea, really bad idea. Considering the fact that everybody had already had Algebra 1 and 2, and I never had either, and I'm in a classroom, long-haired hippie guy, and the rest are geeks. They're all geeks. First day in the classroom, the Mr. Green gets up on the board and writes out a freaking formula. E to the pi of XYZ is square to the whatever, and wrote it out. And I saw all their heads doing that. And I said, what is this stuff? And I'm looking at that, and I said, what have I got myself into? They're going to study trigonometry, analytic geometry, calculus, all this stuff. And they had the foundation, Algebra 1 and 2. I had neither. And I went to the teacher immediately. That was first day in school, first day. And I said, Mr. Green, you know what? I made a real big mistake when I signed up. This is a 3-hour course every day in high school. I said, I made a real big mistake signing up for this class. Because that stuff you did on the board, I don't know what that was. I saw all their heads nodding. They understood. It was all Greek to me. I don't know what that was. So I really think I need to step out of this, and I need to pick a different subject. I need to go to see the school counselor because I'm in deep doo-doo. I can see that right now. And I can remember him. He says, now, Jeff, if you just do this, don't quit. Don't quit, okay? If you will just give me your effort and do it. Just give me your effort, your best. He said, I will not give you an F. I will not fail you. And I could see he really wanted me. And I thought, why? I had long hair. I mean, I was a kid, it was junior high school. I smoked dope too. You know what I mean? In my senior year, I don't think I had a straight day, to tell you the truth. That was back then, okay? I don't do that today. Anyway, but I'm just saying that's the way I was. I was a rock drummer. But anyway, I could see he wanted me. And I thought, oh, good grief, man, he's putting this guilt trip on me now. I really want to quit. And so I said, all right. And I stuck it out, and it was hard, so hard. But later I found myself writing out those formulas. I couldn't believe it. And no, I didn't get high grades. I think I think it was like C was an average. But I'm just saying, but that was the thing. And I stuck with it for 2 years. And the next year I went back 3 hours a day, going in that classroom, writing out and building circuits and designing things. I don't know, it's crazy. But the thing was, when I apply that to what we do today, it's like that. When you have people that are making an effort, then I don't write them off. I don't. I say, if you're putting out, you're trying, I'm going to get in, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you because I want to see you succeed. I want to see you succeed. I don't like failures. I love success stories. I love part-time success stories. I like full-time success stories. I love seeing people win and doing well. And that's your job, my friend. So those are some of the points that I was thinking about. And then there was another point too. Oh yes, I almost forgot this. I made a note to myself. Don't forget that. Okay. Here's something I want you to do. For those of you that have teams, I want you to call your leaders. I'm talking about your leaders. You know who they are. It doesn't have to be top pins. Whatever they are, leaders. These are people that are sponsoring people. They're building a business. In fact, they're creating an income for you. An income for you, okay? It's amazing how many people in network marketing don't appreciate the people that create their incomes. For some reason, it's in their ego. They think because they're so great, that's the reason why all this money shows up. What I want you to do is call your leaders this week and don't talk about the business. I'm going to let that sink in. What? Yes. I want you to call them and I want you to ask them how they're doing. How are you doing? How's the family? How's the kids? How's Joey? How's Debbie doing? How are they doing in school? Chit chat with them. But don't talk about the business. Now, if they bring it up, okay. If they say, well, you know what, I'm so glad you called because I got this new prospect and I think I really need some help with them. Sure, I'll be glad to help you with that, but that's not why I called you. I just want to know how you're doing. See, we got to get it to that. The sticky stuff. Going back to the sticky stuff, but do that from time to time. Don't call them. I can remember back in 1989, I can remember my upline guy called me one day, and I knew he was always interested in what I was going to make him. So he was in my upline. He called me up one day. He said, "Have you made me any money today yet?" And I can remember saying to him, "Nope, and I'm not going to." Clink. So really, and there's a lot of attitude like that out there. It's amazing to me that it's still around after all these years. I thought we read enough books and learned enough. Okay? But call your leaders and ask them, how are you doing? Don't mention the business and don't talk about it. Now, if they bring it up, okay. Yeah, I'm not saying, ignore that because then they won't like that. But when they do say, okay, an answer or whatever they're asking, acquiesce it, whatever it takes, but then say, but that's not what I'm calling you about. I was just calling to see how you're doing. See, that's missing. That's missing. And people think that Facebook groups is going to replace that. Facebook Messenger is going to replace that. Autoresponders are going to replace that. Pre-written emails are going to replace that. It's not. It's not. Principles never change, just the tools. But those things are the first space in baseball, in network marketing. It's all about the sticky stuff. What do you think? Do you think that, Arthur, do you think that it's important to love people and show that? You do? He's got his glasses on. I thought I'd have fun with that. Okay, so everyone, thanks for getting on this live call, and I'm glad I was able to share that information about what is your job, what we have to do. These are not spectacular things. These are the obvious things, but it's the obvious things that people don't do. And that's the reason why they don't become a success story in network marketing, because they don't get it. They don't get it. But get good at that and get good at these very things we talked about. Thanks for getting on this call. For those of you in North South America, have a good evening. Love those who you are with. And those of you in Asia, your day's just beginning. What are you going to do with this day? Remember, it's all about hitting the ball, catch, run. What was the other thing? Yeah, anyway, that's it. Play ball, man. And in network marketing, just do it. And keep the most important things, and that's the people in your business. Do the sticky stuff, create the relationships, and call your leaders this week and ask them how they're doing, and don't talk about the business unless, of course, they make you do it. So thanks for getting on the call. I appreciate and love all of you guys. You're amazing, totally amazing. And remember, leave that emotional baggage out of the past. Don't let it affect your future. The past doesn't equal the future. Let the past go. Show up new, fresh, with passion and fire for what you do, and do it that way, because you're going to be great. And if you haven't read that book, Failing Forward, that would be a great book by John Maxwell to read. I'd encourage you to read that. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.